Anyway, recap here. Let's continue from where we left off. So after Xiaoshan ran into Roy's brother Lador, he suddenly pushed her into the pond. Fortunately Roy appeared and got her out of there, and escorted her back to her room again. Once she at the school, she got a phone call about her brother's condition is serious. She ran for him in panic right after hearing that, but the disciplinary committee members didn't allow it cause it was already late, and she should apply for leave the next day to get out of there. But she was in hurry. Then Sene approached her and said, if you have a nobility badge, you have permission to get past the gate. Somehow, he persuaded her to steal Roy's nobility badge instead of asking him and borrowing. Once she stole the badge successfully, she met up with Senai at night in school grounds. They get past the gate and kept running cars. Some people seemed tailing after them. So Sene stayed behind to stop them while Xiaoshan visiting her brother Xiaoling. But it was weird cause once she at the hospital he seemed alright. There wasn't any serious condition at all. Then she felt something is wrong. The nobility badge she brought is missing. She bumped into Roy and his escort while on the way back, and she confessed what happened to his badge and what she did with it. But Roy didn't say a single word back to her and asked his employee to look for the badge. Soon after, Roy grabbed her and bit her neck to suck her blood. But Xiaoshan fell unconscious right after, cause she was exhausted from the events from before and she had lost a lot of her blood. She woke up again back in the mansion. She heard the workers chatting about after losing nobility badge Roy can't even attend to the ball. So Xiaoshan ran to help him in any way she can. But she didn't know where even to go. Lucky for her, Roy's best friend Sin happened to drive from there. He gave Xiaoshan a ride to the ball with appropriate dress suits for the occasion. But one more thing. He made her cooperate to one of his schemes to help Roy. Then Roy attends the ball, but he was stopped at the front and made a fuss by other vampires cause they heard the news of Roy losing his badge. So he couldn't enter the ball. Instead he was asked to have an audience with elders. Roy promised them he'll find his badge within 24 hours, or he'll let go of his right as an elder candidate. Once Xiaoshan was at the ball, she looked so gorgeous and she caught everyone's eye. But she saw Sene. Turns out he's also a vampire and he only joined the school just to steal Roy's badge. Xiaoshan knew all that after Sin's explanation on the way to the ball. So she deliberately approached him and had a talk in private. Turns out his real name is Wool. But he suddenly grabbed her and Xiaoshan couldn't even move. But suddenly Roy showed up and sent him flying, saying, "Don't touch my woman." Then elders showed up after hearing this ruckus. Unlucky for Wool. Suddenly Roy's badge falls out of his pocket. He couldn't believe what happened, so elders banned him from ever attending the ball, and cancelled his candidacy to be an elder. Actually it was the work of Xiaoshan. She managed to slip the badge into his pocket while he grabbed her as Sin instructed. She felt better that she could be of use to Roy and correct the mistake she had done. He even protected her from Will's insult. Xiaoshan still isn't sure what his feelings are. After that, Roy took her outside knowing she's uncomfortable around so many vampires at the ball. Then Roy and Xiaoshan started dancing as they practiced before, but they kissed at the end of the dance. Later he took her home, pushed her to bed, and kissed her again. But Xiaoshan thought he's gonna suck all her blood. Next morning when she woke up, Roy was beside her bed and was admiring her. As she trying to get out of bed, Roy grabbed her and hugged her from behind. It turns out she fell asleep last night before anything happened. He had set up a table of food for her and even fed her. Cause Roy wanted her to eat up well to get stronger and get her strength back. Even though Roy kept insisting on protecting her, but she can't understand what he wants. Back in school people still gossip about her. Roy noticed that. But in the class her classmates were nice to her surprisingly. Later in the night, Roy gave a wardrobe of dresses to her, just so people will stop all those rumors in the school. But Xiaoshan refused to accept them, but Roy pushed onto the wall and kissed her. Later at night Roy's brother Lador showed up and told her Roy is nice to her only cause she resembles Roy's last blood servant. Hearing that, Xiaoshan got depressed and asked about that from Roy the next day. Upon hearing that, Roy suddenly shouted at her and walked away. From next day on, Roy started ignoring Xiaoshan and didn't even came to meet her. Seeing the situation, some students sent Xiaoshan a fake letter looking like it's from Roy. Once she was there, they grabbed her and attacked her, leaving her handcuffed to the gate nearby. Then a vampire girl appeared and started sucking blood from her. Xiaoshan felt her life getting sucked away. Then a hooded person appeared and threw a silver dagger at that vampire and was about to get to Xiaoshan. Suddenly Roy appeared and kicked him away. Then he ran away while Roy checking on Xiaoshan. She was totally unconscious. After the incident, she was brought to Roy's place and have treated properly for her wounds. Roy was beside her worrying about her. Once Xiaoxin woke up, she saw Roy has fallen asleep while holding her hand. He woke up right after Xiaoxin mumbled his name and was about to rush to the doctor. But Xiaoxin stopped him cause she still doesn't understand why Roy saved her. She was afraid if he keeps treating her nicely, she might fall for him. But it's so obvious Xiaoxin has already fallen badly for him. At that moment her feelings went out of control and confessed everything on her mind without even realizing it. Roy only asked, "Do you like me that much?" Then without even giving her a moment he kissed her on the lips. But Xiaoxin was still thinking that she is just a substitute for his last blood servant. Then Roy reassured saying, "You aren't a substitute but the important part of my current life." Then about that hooded person who was in the last incident, it turns out he's another blood servant of a female vampire. He wishes to attend the same campus that Roy and others attend in exchange for satisfying his mistress. On the next day, Xiaoxin got out of bed and was about to go outside to get some fresh air. But after hearing that, Roy insisted saying, "You can go outside but only with me," and he dragged her outside. During their outing Xiaoxin saw some of the hidden qualities of Roy she hasn't seen before. Also they managed to have a romantic moment. Back in the mansion, Roy's friend Sin revealed to Xiaoxin how he used to get bullied, cause of he's a mixed species between humans and vampires, and how Roy didn't despise him cause of that. Also he offered to tell about Roy's past, but Xiaoxin felt Roy's past should only be heard through him. Back in her room while she was thinking about Roy and his past, she realized Roy is next to her on the bed. Since he came back sooner he wanted Xiaoxin to praise him. Hearing that she chuckled. The only thing she knew was she can never let go of Roy's hand no matter what while kissing him. There was an exam on campus that Xiaoxin must take. Sin escorted her there cause Roy has instructed him to do so. But someone has put a cheat sheet under her table and accused her of cheating on the exam. Fortunately Roy showed up and intimidated all the students and the instructor. Then he dragged Xiaoxin to the same balcony. He declared she was his enemy. Then he pulled her closer and declared that she is his personal blood servant, and none of you can touch her. And Roy suggested her to be transferred to his class, cause he was worried that people keep bothering her. Well, that's the end of season 1. As always, if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. Peace out, and I meet you on the next one.